Good afternoon. How is everybody? Today we're going to talk about, can the President of the United States of America promise tax favors on his own? And obviously I brought this topic up because I want folks to understand how tax rules and regulations are created. A lot of immigrants, business owners, don't really understand that, so they think what they hear is what's going to happen. And let's just dive into that legislative process. And I am famous with explaining complex matters simple. And I speak simple English as well. So what I say, you for sure will understand. If I mispronounce any words, that just means that I am also not so sophisticated. I'm just like you, or like someone among those audience understand where I'm coming from. No opinion is expressed. What I am here doing is to offer you a path to think, then you can express your opinion on November 5th. All right? So let's get into it. And I want you to see the YouTube channel you see here. And we deposit all of our videos right here after we finish, right? So you will see this topic on that YouTube channel. We have 7 Tuesdays left, including this one. We have 7 Tuesdays left before November 5th. That day is Tuesday. So I don't suppose I'm going to do anything, but I may just do something. I'm still thinking. But every Tuesday from now on, I will talk about something related to election, whether it is presidential power, limitation, or bankruptcy. So filing bankruptcy, can you still have a luxury life with 6 bankruptcies behind you? Is bankruptcy says anything about, when you run presidential election, does that matter to the voters? So what is about bankruptcy? Why people can file that and still live in the penthouse that's 32,000 square footage, right? So with that said, and we will dive into these things. Then we talk about how all of these individual tax-related issues, money-related issues in presidential election, and give you the accountant point of view. And who I am just a super accountant. Not only I am good with accounting knowledge, and I also understand how the system works to create a tax rule. When we file taxes, I see that on the form. And to understand how that was promised during the campaign, all the way to see it on the tax form for folks to fill in and get the result of it, that understanding is right here today. All right, let's dive into it. So, did you see that? Can the president promise tax favors on his own? Right? So, before our PowerPoint, we always brag about our firm. You already know that. There's a couple numbers to remember. The 27 is a number because we're on the market serving public for 27 years already. The 10 is the number because we speak 10 different languages in our firm. The 12,000 is a number because we have that many clients behind us. Then the 5 is a number because we have 5 branches in 3 different states. So the last one was Houston, Texas. Then 3. That's the 3 years I was served as an IRS advisory committee member via National Taxpayer Advocacy Panel and advising to IRS. Then what is 2? 2 is my book, the 2 books I finished, and 8 a.m., 10 a.m. And actually in the 8 a.m., I referenced famous people in there. In the 10 a.m., I referenced famous people in there. You'll find them. You know these people. I reference their character to demonstrate to you that if you are a business person, who you are, and based on your character and what kind of things you should be paying attention to in your growing of the business. All right, Of course, no responsibility disclaimer, and I don't make decision for you. I don't vote for you, and you are the one going into the voting booth. It's a private place, folks, and it doesn't matter, and you are Republican or Democrats, you're gonna choose consciously with a character, knows the rules, regulation, understand your responsibility. And even though I don't take any responsibility of who you're gonna vote, but you take responsibility of who you are voting. All right, so let's dive into it. Tax law creation. If we want to lower corporation tax rate, like how Trump did back in 2017. And he actually did one of the most historical reduction to U.S. revenue, to revenue, by lower corporation tax rate from 38% down to 15%, right? This is what he did in 2007 December. So that is the tax law. That is a creation of that law. Tax law in U.S. are created through a structured legislative process involving multiple steps and different branches of the government. And this ensures that the tax policy was not out of someone's overnight thinking. It is thoroughly debated and vetted, and becoming a sensible law support our bottom line and helping the country to reduce the debt, right? That's really, I understand all of these small laws, tax laws coming into our tax forms, but what I don't have access to it, but I do understand that every single changes we have in the tax is impacting our revenue at IRS. So with the corporation rate change, we have created multiple $trillion debt in our country. Obviously, as a country, we can file bankruptcy, folks. And if you got people so used to file bankruptcy, they can file bankruptcy on U.S. So bankrupt all the loans that U.S. borrowed from other foreign country. So one of the big one is China. So really, it is not something, as an individual, I will tell you that I don't think I will ever get on the path to file bankruptcy. If I owe somebody money, I pay. Very simple, right? If I know I'm going to be owing so much, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, then I don't do. That is just my value, and everybody's value is different. But this tax law, it is like the rules at the household. It's like you spending money, and you are, if you're good at filing bankruptcy and that you can give more tax incentives out and not considering how our budget runs. Presidential powers over that. The President of the United States has a significant influence, but normally operates within the system of checks and balances. So this prevents any single branch of government, right? The House, the Senate, the Congress, the President, preventing any of these branch of governments to become too powerful. It is a checks and balances. And we're talking about in U.S., you got two parties, majority parties, the Republican and Democrats. It's such a wonderful system we have. And we want both parties to be strong and to help each other to have these checks and balances going forward. So the presidential power by itself is not superpower unless we turn this country to dictatorship, then the president will have ultimate powers. So here we're talking about the president of the United States and has significant influence. Yes, because he guides the direction, but normally has to operate within the system. Let's take a look at our legislative process for tax laws. We only work on taxes, right? So Constitution basis. Constitution is this guidance. It's a spiritual guidance of how we had United States of America. If we can consider heaven is a country, then the Bible is that basis. So really, Constitution basis, Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution gives Congress the power of levy taxes. So the power of levy taxes simply means the power of getting money from you. Get money for the government. Congress has the power. So how is the power, how is this process goes? How is Congress coming into play? So when we have a tax initiative, whether it's a rate lower, and even with President Trump, when he did this corporation tax rate reduction, he has gone through these 5 steps. So initiation. The tax bill originated in the House of Representatives, especially in the Ways and Means Committee. So the Ways and Means Committee right now is chaired by Jason Smith. This is his picture. So this Ways and Means Committee is literally the launching house of the laws, the incentive, the tax bills of the country, of United States of America. So they are the one crafting it, making a proposal, making this initiation. House of Representatives would take that and debate it, amend it, and approve the bill. And now the Speaker of the House is Mike Johnson. You saw that picture, right? At the same time, this initiation, the tax bill originated by Ways and Means Committee, will be reviewed, debated, and amended into a new bill or somewhat similar bill or updated bill by Senate. So these are Senate. Mitch McConnell, he is the Republican chairman, and then you have Chuck Schumer, who is the Democratic chairman within the Senate. They review, their members review, debate, and amend the bill. Then Congressional Conference Committee. This is United States Congress appoints members into Congressional Conference Committee and to resolve the difference between the House and the Senate and make a new version, then become the bill. The president approves it or veto it. A veto just means deny it. No, yeah or nay, right? Yeah or nay from the president. So that is how tax rules are coming, tax laws are coming about. So if you're thinking that, if some president out there, the candidates out there, just promise you he or she will get that done, that may not mean what they didn't mean to say that, oh, I'm just going to close my eyes and get you the bill and it's done. No, they have to work with the House, work with the Senate, and then sign into the law, right? So the House of Representatives are made up by our local congressmen and women. The Senate are made up by your senators in your state. So if you got an influence on the tax bill, and now you know where to start. You need to start with your local representative and to really give feedback to these tax bills. And then they can actually be negotiated on the top of the White House and becoming the act, the law. Now, and you say that, well, you're talking about this, but actually I don't see anything coming out of the legislative process. I just know the IRS just add a line on the form, that's it. Not as simple. So now, when president signed that into a law, IRS gets busy. What they do is IRS will translate the tax laws passed by the Congress into a detailed regulation, rules, procedures. When we say detailed regulations, rules, and procedures, those are the forms and the form instructions, just part of it. Those forms and form instructions are so much intellectual in there. The more I understand IRS, the more respect I have for people who work in IRS, which you never even talk to. These are the people will and take these laws, translate into many languages. You go to IRS website, there's many languages. These regulations provide guidance on how to comply with the law. So IRS come in, will interpret it that first and putting into the procedures. Then they will do interpretation. These are issued by IRS and the Treasury. The IRS and the Treasury Department will regulate, will interpret and give directions on how to comply with the law. These articles, guidelines, regulations are published in Federal Register and often goes through a public comment period before they become final. Okay, how many of our small business owners actually go to Federal Register to put in comments? Never. We don't do. We don't know how to do. That's okay, folks. The reason I am here today is to tell you your senators, your congressmen and women are the one can do it for you. You just need to know that you want to be actively involved in politics, not politics. Politics has a very negative tones to it. Get involved with the betterment of making, I'm not saying that great again thing, because I think United States of America is already so great. We just want to keep it always great. So just be involved in making the country always great, just as it was, just as it now, and just as the future economy that we are all talking about, right? Revenue rulings. Revenue rulings is also something that IRS do. Sometimes you got this thing implemented, but there is, tweaks and there's things and the situations and it's unfairness coming in, and this we didn't consider, that we didn't consider, like innocent spouse ruling, and you know that one, right? So if you are in the not fair relationship and your husband does all the businesses and also a bunch of money, and the wife don't even speak English and didn't know what's going on, and then now is a tax bill come and the spouse already divorced you, so what are you going to do? So there's an innocent spouse ruling, and those are the things coming in IRS will address with the maturity of the tax law, right? You see that a lot with ERC and things like that, and as time goes and they are making it better, so more interpretations, more guidance would come out. Revenue procedures, official statement that provides instruction on how to comply with IRS position. And, there are also published in the IRS website. So revenue collection, so you got the tax rule there. Then the revenue collection or revenue payment is all in the same place because you could get a lot of money. So IRS will collect the taxes, or insurance compliance is issue you a check. Right? So those are the things. The rule of IRS is after. It's after that bill is signed into the law by the president. But president don't make the bill. And let's look at the president's power and limitations right here. So executive power of the president, and sign veto bills, tax bills, sign or veto, and they have a choice. Issue executive orders. These executive orders has the force of law, which means that you carry out like a law, but can be overturned by the courts or future administration. So if White House changed residence, right, and then can be turned over, all right? So make treaties with other foreign countries with Senate approval. So the president can make treaties agreement and decide on what to charge, how much to charge, and tighten up the treaty agreement with China. So that's what people do. That's what the politicians in general right now is advocating for that. So make treaties with other foreign countries and with Senate approval. And the president can declare war. I want to let you understand the powers. Okay? With the powers the president has, comes responsibility. So voters know who you want to give that power to. Limitations. What is presidential power limitations? The president cannot make law. The law-making power is reserved for Congress exclusively. It's Congress is the body making the law. And any tax changes proposed by the president can be challenged in court. So, limitation. And the president's tax proposal must align with federal budget, which is also subject to congressional approval. See, the president has to work with the House and the Senate, the Ways and Means Committee. So the president has the job description to be able to work with vast people that are in leadership from different states and different places in the country, right? So that is something. Other than declare war, they have responsibility. They also have responsibility to be able to work with their people. It's not much difference from when you work in the business. You have to be able to work with all of your management, all of your staff. And can you imagine a business owner and fires and get rid of everybody who comes around and on a regular basis, and everybody turn bad? Becoming, when they left, they all become the enemies of the boss. That's chaos. That's chaos. Can president promise tax favors? So this is the core of our today's talk. So president can support legislation, appoint officials, and use executive orders to influence policy, but promising favors that require legislative approval or violate laws is beyond presidential authority. So president cannot violate laws that in the country. So this is the core answer. Basically is a big no, right? It's an no. In case you're mistaking no as on, that's not good. No is no, no is not on. Okay. Case study, my last piece of this topic, where I want to show you how presidential power has a limitation in history. Obviously, if we throw away our Constitution, then we don't have to reference any history, because we will rewrite history and make a powerful president who can veto and make laws and come up with the rules and out of one office by one person. That's a way to manage government for sure. It's called dictatorship. And there's other countries on this globe is running that way, and we know who they are, and we also know how well doing we are here in the United States of America. So maybe there's a reason why we are not in the dictatorship, right? And the background, this case is President Harry Truman and the steel seizure case. So the background is during the Korean War, President Truman attempted to take control of steel mills to prevent a strike that he believed that it would jeopardize the national defense. You know how much of defense production is related to steel mills at that time. So the workers are on strike, and he was worried about the national defense. So President Truman issued an executive order to seize the mills, take control. But the Supreme Court ruled this case and said that president did not have the authority to take such action without congressional approval. So this is the case, very famous case, is this steel tube company. It's called Young Stone Steel and the Tube Company versus Sawyer. Sawyer was the Secretary of Commerce at the time, so representing the U.S. government. So this case went on to Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court came back concluded that president didn't have the authority to do that. He cannot take control of the steel mills. So this case highlighted the limitations of presidential power and reinforced the principle that the president cannot unilaterally make decisions that require legislative approval. So legislative approval, that is a saving grace. That is how we can run our everyday life with rules and orders that everybody respect. All right, so that, I think I gave you a very clear answer, like I promised, and it is your responsibility to understand it. It's my responsibility to just tell you what I know. And if you have further questions, and you let me know, and you can email me. And the best yet, and don't forget, it is a tax season, it's a tax planning season right now for our firm. If you are interested in 2024 tax planning service, you need to contact us. Get your name, time carved on the calendar because we are just very busy. With this time, if you can plan your 2024, when you come to 2025 to file your taxes, you will live without stress. Yes, I know. Yesterday was the last day of filing corporation pass-through entity tax, right? So one of the clients I know, and I noticed that he didn't come to do taxes, so I called him. And when he picked up my phone, he sighed really loud on the phone. I said, "Are you stressed out?" He goes, "Yes, you call me, I'm stressed out." And I said, "I know you didn't have anything ready, and I know you're stressed out. Actually, let me just tell you, don't need to be stressed out. And the most you're going to do is to pay some penalties. The penalty I already calculated for you is about $2,000. And if you can live with $2,000 penalty and you're late, you're late. So let's take a deep breath and get your accounting in order so we can file your 2023 tax." So we understand the stress, so understanding. And with that, we want to say that you take yourself out of that situation. Do your 2024 tax planning with us. And this is the list of partners we have in the firm. And you can book our time online and we'll come on and talk to you. But for tax planning, though, we typically need a preparation before we can get online. So online conference consultation is really meant for your specific question. If you want us to take overall your business as a holistic look, then give you a strategy on going forward, how to do, and then that we need to prepare. Then we meet you on Zoom, online, and then we give you the plan. So that's kind of tax planning is different from you just get online to get hold of us, okay? This is the last slide, folks. Please go into YouTube channel and like our channel, subscribe to our channel, and you got our website address and Catherine's email right here, and you can demand what we talk about here. And we are the only CPA firm in this country, open 6 days a week. I am not exaggerating, and I don't lie, and it's true. All right, so I'll talk to you again, and thank you for being a listener to our channel.